Hey YouTube, how's it going? I've got a lot to cover today, so I'm going to try and keep it fast. I feel like it's got to the point now where I can't really go without making any comment at all on where I stand on all the recent drama in the feminist community. And I don't want to make any drama for myself. I'm kind of really done with all the drama, and that's kind of my point, actually. So I don't agree with using the term, rapist to describe anything other than someone who does actually rape people. I very politely made this point to Nuclear Night, but she decided to block me because I don't make her feel safe, and I just wanted, if anyone could get a message to Nuclear Night, that I don't mind about being blocked, but just that I really don't represent any threat to her. It occurs to me she might think that because I went to where she lived when I was in America, but I'm not someone that would ever doctor up anyone, and I have no ill feeling towards you, so you don't need to fear your safety from me. Speaking of rape, though, I mean, this is kind of my point. I'm so tired of watching YouTube feminists kind of back and forth drama when no issues actually seem to really get, discussed. And I'm not trying to discredit the entire feminist movement on YouTube. It's just that it tends to get the most coverage, this kind of one-side, like sex-positive, one-sided argument, and then this, feminists who just can't wait to call everyone rapists and they hate sex, and, on the other. And I want to kind of call out to feminists who, just are kind of for reason and rational responses, and just, dealing with some issues and kind of without, where it doesn't really matter if we don't take the same stance on it, as long as we can talk to each other respectfully. So hopefully there's, there are some people that are interested in these things. There's been you might have heard about it in America. There's an article in the New York Times recently about an 11-year-old girl who was gang raped by up to 18 men, which is just like appalling to think that we live in a society where an 11-year-old can get gang raped in 2 separate occasions and over hours and hours by 18 men. And they got found out not because the 11-year-old made any kind of claim of rape, but because they were proud of the fact, so they filmed it on their telephones, on the mobile phones, and showed it around at school. And eventually one of the other kids, the 11-year-old, a girl, went to the head teacher and said that she'd seen the video, and the school were kind of reluctant to deal with it until it became clear that they really were going to have trouble on their hands if they didn't pass it over to the police. And it's just this awful kind of situation where they're interviewing all these local people, and they're all saying about how she was an 11-year-old, but she dressed really slutty for her age, and hung around with boys in the neighbourhood and that sort of stuff. And the suggestion seems to be that she was asking for it. They just wonder what kind of sick, illogical society we could live in when a child can be gang raped and people can excuse adult people of doing that. It was in Cleveland, Texas. I'll link you to the New York Times article down below. I'll also link you to the Change.org, which is a humanist organisation, I believe. It doesn't seem to be feminist so much as humanist. And Change.org petitioned to the New York Times editor to retract and apologise for the article, because the article paints it that way, like it's the victim's fault, very much the victim's fault, as you'd see if you fancy checking out the article down below. So I'll link you to Change.org if you fancy signing that petition. They've already got 47,000 signatures, and it's just an easy way for you to lend a little bit of weight between the things you'd like to see change. There's been another article on Feminist Thing recently about the Indiana abortion laws. The Republicans, and particularly the Republican Eric Turner, is kind of trying to push through an act which would change the legal term of abortion from 24 weeks to 20 weeks. I can't remember her name, a female politician in response has tried to raise this amendment to the act that it's past her. She tried to raise an amendment to the act which would mean that women that were the victims of rape or incest would be able to get an abortion up to 24 weeks, or women who would have their lives seriously threatened by carrying to term ectopic pregnancies, for example, or pregnancies which are unhealthy to the woman. And that was defeated. I'll just see what the number was there. They voted 42 to 54, so they voted down Reichen's amendment, which means that during this whole furor, though, during this kind of debate over the abortion law, the reason that her amendment to this law was turned down to allow rape, incest and dangerous pregnancies to access to abortion. The reason that they were turning that down was because it would provide a loophole to women who wanted an abortion up to 24 weeks, where they could just pretend that they'd been raped or the victim was incest. And he acts like this is a really kind of easy thing to do. This is Eric Turner. It's a really easy kind of thing to do, to make this false rape allegation or this false incest allegation. It is all quite disparaging. So I kind of was reading around on the topic and what I could kind of do to lend some weight to that, to this argument, despite the fact that the act has already gone through and it's been defeated. And I've discovered really, like, I know this isn't anything new to Americans, but I didn't realise that the state for women, that Republicans in America are quite as appallingly atrocious as they are. And this is just kind of some of the stuff that I found recently, which is kind of, the first one's quite ironic, because people are always accusing feminists of wanting to redefine rape, trying to redefine what rape means, and like looking at a woman can mean rape and that kind of stuff, which I've never found any evidence of that anywhere apart from kind of hearsay. But the Republicans don't just want to reduce women's access to abortion care, they're actually trying to redefine rape, to kind of narrow the boundaries of what you can actually prosecute rape to mean. There's a state legislator in Georgia who wants to change the legal term for the victims of rape, stalking and domestic violence to accuser. So the three major criminal kind of social ills against women, rape, stalking and domestic violence, in those cases he wants to change the complainant, the person bringing forward the claim, to an accuser, talked of as the accuser rather than the victim. But in any other less gendered crime like burglary, the victim remains a victim. And this is just, frankly, just a completely transparent attempt to rework the language that we discuss specifically women's issues in terms of justice. And that's, I think, frankly sick. In South Dakota, Republicans proposed a bill that could make it legal to murder a doctor who provides abortion care. They proposed it. I doubt it went through, but they certainly proposed it, which shows just kind of out off their rockers these people are politically. In Congress, Republicans have a bill that would let hospitals allow a woman to die rather than perform an abortion necessary to save her life. So even in a situation where a woman sacrificing an adult woman for a fetus, it's just unbelievable. Maryland Republicans ended all county money for low-income kids' preschool programs, and they said that there was no need for these preschool programs, the county funds towards them, because women should really be at home with the kids and not out working. And then at a federal level, these Republicans are still working on the same kind of tactics, that they want to cut the same program, this kind of low-income kids preschool program, by £1 billion, meaning that 200,000 kids could lose their spots in preschool. Some kind of social engineering to force women into the home to look after children. I suppose based on the idea that these women just don't care enough about their children and need to be forced to take responsibility for them. But the reality is that these are low-income children. Women can't afford to stay at home with their children if they're supporting them alone or with another low-income partner. It's just a really sick way to paint women's behaviour, and I find it, £1 billion cut from preschool programs is really something that is a major setback for women's rights, and this kind of reduced access to abortion and chipping away at abortion rights, and access to contraception and access to fair and balanced sex education, is so completely damaging, and it seems so odd. Like, why would you want to spread AIDS, for example? Why would you want to increase the numbers of unwanted children that society has to deal with? Why would you want to send women back into back alley abortions? Mad, really. But anyway, so I'm trying to take this new direction on the channel, which is I want to bring up actual issues, and I want to provide you, the viewer, with an opportunity to put your name behind a petition, or write a letter to a senator, or write into the New York Times, or whatever, if you want to. You're actually absolutely not under an obligation to do so, but I just hope that you would take the time to get to kind of find out about these issues and see that, you know, that my personality and my reputation on YouTube doesn't, you know, it doesn't dissuade you from taking those issues seriously. So please check out all the links, and I hope you're all well, YouTube, and it feels good to be kind of dealing with issues rather than kind of engaging in drama. And I'm just done with it, and I'm not achieving anything on my channel. I mean, I haven't really been majorly, I just feel like there's a lot of feminist drama around, and I haven't really been majorly engaging with it, at least in videos. I am in comments and kind of giving opinions on things. Me and Nuclear Night, as I say, have fallen out because I don't agree with her use of the term rape, and I tried to politely, you know, put that to her, and she is, I think she's just being attacked from all sides, and she was kind of in attack mode when I put it to her, and she kind of perceives me to hold a much more anti-nuke attitude than I do. But I just wanted to know that, you know, she has no reason to feel unsafe from me. And, you know, anyone that wants to get involved, kind of, you know, if you've got anyone, if you know anyone else, any other feminists on YouTube, let them know about me. It'd be really good to have, you know, some dialogue with feminists. I'm done discussing the legitimacy of feminism as a political stance. I've been on YouTube doing it for 2 years, and I just can't seem to find counter-arguments against my political stances. And, you know, frankly, I want there to be less of a culture of, you know, enabling people, 18 men who rape an 11-year-old girl, with the kind of local attitude and the kind of the societal attitude, and kind of enabling the voices of people that are the victims of abuse, rape, domestic violence, people trafficking, to have a voice. And I want to get things moving. I want to get things going. You know, I'm done stagnating in this drama. So yeah, feel free to join me, pitch in your opinion, feminist or not, and I hope you're all well.